Hi friends, in this video I am going to help you learn how to integrate the PYQs in your preparation. Guys, we all know the PYQs are very important and they play a very important role in your preparation. But what I have seen that most candidates, they fail to integrate PYQs in their preparation strategically. 99% of the candidates, what they do is they just simply solve the PYQs expecting that the same question will come in the next year examination. Guys, that is not going to happen because UPSC is not going to repeat what it has already asked in the previous years directly. So what you need to do is that you need to learn how to analyze the trend, how to integrate the PYQs in your preparation. And today in this video, using one of the questions which has come in this year's prelims examination, I am going to help you learn that art. I'm going to help you learn that art, how to do that. Okay, so this year there was a question, which one of the following best describes the polar code. So this question was not exactly the current affairs question because this was not covered in the Hindu newspaper or in the Indian Express this year. Okay, specifically this year, I'm talking about this year. I'm talking about how a first timer, if he is attempting the exam in the first attempt, how he can use the PYQs and can prepare strategically for the prelims examination. This was not covered in this year's Hindu newspaper. It was not covered in Indian Express newspaper. So it is very challenging for any new candidate to prepare this topic of polar code for the exam. And you see the options are also placed in such a manner that they will confuse you. But in this video, I am going to explain to you how you can exactly prepare this topic on your own if you know how to use the PYQs, and how to integrate PYQs with your current events. Okay, so let me just show you some of the current events, okay, which were there in this year news. Okay, you can see this. Okay, you can see this. India on 17th of March, okay, released its Arctic policy, okay, for the first time. You already know that India has been carrying out some research in the polar regions, in the both Arctic and Antarctic region. So this year, for the first time, India released its Arctic policy. Okay, so obviously anyone who is sincerely preparing for the UPSC examination will say that Arctic was a topic which was very important for this year, and in one question will definitely come from the Arctic region, because anyways Arctic region is very important, polar regions is very important in geography. Okay, so Arctic region is going to come in this year's examination. Let me show you another news item this year. You can see here March 3. Okay, you can see here March 3. Okay, countries of Arctic Council, they have boycotted the Arctic Council meeting because of Russia's invasion on Ukraine. Because Russia is the present chairman of Arctic Council. So Arctic Council was also in news. Further, it also says that okay, because of the climate change, okay, what is happening is that new resource exploitation and new sea routes are being discovered. Because of this like melting of ice here. Okay, if that candidate does little bit study of what is there in this Arctic policy. You can see here, I'll just show you one. Okay, background note on India's Arctic policy. So this was a background note on India's Arctic policy. Okay, background note on India's Arctic policy. It had many chapters. Okay, this was a note prepared by the Parliament research team, and in that there is one topic. Transport and connectivity. You can see that, and in that you can see here polar code was mentioned. Transport and connectivity. So polar code was mentioned in India's Arctic policy. You see how questions are coming from current affairs, but for you current affairs is what? Only the current affairs which is released by some coaching institutes. Okay, but see, in mostly coaching institutes, okay, current affairs, they will not go deep. whatever they have, they will read in the newspaper, they will compile and they will give you. Okay, this research, this kind of research, backward and forward linkage, okay, very few places you find, very few places you find. Okay, because this needs a lot of thinking, this needs a lot of analysis. Okay, now let me tell you, you will say, sir, okay, it is very difficult to read this entire background note. How exactly can one know that this question or this topic can come? Let me just show you. Okay, so let us see. Okay, let us see what kind of questions have already come from this topic in the past. Let us see this. Okay, guys, so you can see here, okay, already UPSC has asked a question on Arctic Council in the past in 2014. You can, in 2014 they have asked membership of Arctic Council. So obviously they are not going to ask a simple question that what is the membership of Arctic Council this year, because they have already asked 6 years back. They have already asked what is the membership of Arctic Council. So they are going to go one step deeper. They will go one step deeper. Coming to the mains question, you can see here UPSC has asked a lot of mains question also from this section. You can see starting from Civil Services Mains Examination 2011, then 2015, then 2018. You see the focus of Civil Services, okay, mains examination question on this topic is on both the positive impact and on the negative impact of the melting of Arctic Sea. Let us read this question. As regards the increasing rates of melting of Arctic ice, the interest of Arctic Council nations may not coincide with the wider world. It says that when the ice of the Arctic region melts, it is not going to be having the same impact for the members of Arctic Council members and for the entire world. Why? Because the members of the Arctic Council, okay, they are going to be benefited. They are going to be benefited, whereas the entire world, the wider world, okay, they are going to be at loss because of the impact it will have on the climate, impact it will have on the basically the rising sea level. Okay. On the other hand, for the members who are there, okay, as a part of the Arctic Council, who are the littoral countries of this region, they will have some positive impacts in the form of energy exploration, in the form of okay, mineral exploration, and also in the form of sea routes, also in the form of new sea routes. Okay, so these are the three positive impact of melting of sea ice in this region. However, it will have adverse impact for the entire world. Adverse impact on the entire world. If you have read India's Arctic policy, in the very first page, okay, India's Arctic policy talks about what will be the adverse impact of melting of Arctic ice on the global climate, particularly on India. Okay, it has that document. If you go through very first page, it has that. Okay, so what I am trying to tell you is that if you have gone through the previous year questions which have come from the Arctic region or Arctic Sea or Arctic Council, okay, if you have read that, you can easily infer that UPSC is focusing more on the impact of melting of sea ice, and UPSC is interested to know, are you understanding the dilemma? Okay, because of the Arctic Sea melting. What is the dilemma? That there is some positive impact also. It is going to, okay, open new sea routes of communication. It is going to open new areas of oil exploration, gas exploration and mineral exploration. On the other hand, largely this is going to have negative impact on the global climate. Do you know this or not? Okay, so let me just show you a small brainstorming which I have done. Okay, so if you were a serious candidate, what you will do? You knew that this Arctic region is going to come in this year's examination, because I just showed you two current affairs, okay, which was there related to this topic, Arctic region, India's Arctic policy, which was the India's Arctic policy, and another was the Arctic Council boycott. Okay, so two types of question can be expected, either based on impact of Arctic sea melting or on the governance of Arctic region, As far as impact of warming of Arctic Sea is concerned, it can have negative impact, it can have positive impact. Negative impact, obviously we all know, it is like most talked about. Every day in newspapers we read about negative impact of melting of Arctic Sea, and this is also covered in India's Arctic policy. Very first page it is covered. Okay, what is more important is the positive impact. Okay, so it is going to open the new sea routes of communication, which is called Arctic navigation. It is going to open Arctic navigation. It is going to open Arctic navigation. It is also going to help us explore new minerals and okay, energy resources, new minerals and energy resources. It is going to help us, okay, explore new minerals and energy exploration. Okay, as far as organization or governance of this region is concerned, there are two organizations related to this region. One is Arctic Council, that is obvious. Okay, so this UPSC has already asked, and there is another organization which is governing this region, okay, as far as Arctic navigation is concerned. As far as Arctic navigation is concerned, which is the International Maritime Organization, and this International Maritime Organization has come out with a polar code for regulating the shipping in this region. And that is why you see this report, this background report, okay, on India's Arctic policy. In India's Arctic policy has one chapter dedicated to transport and connectivity, and in that chapter exactly you can see here they have explained what is this, okay, IMO's polar code. Okay, IMO's polar code, exactly they have explained this. So what exactly is the intent of making this video? The intent of making this video is, guys, let me just show you, okay, that when you prepare for the prelims examination, when you see any current affairs news, okay, what you can do is that you can go to the PYQs, and see what type of question UPSC has already asked. So that is obvious, and that you need to prepare, because UPSC has already asked a question on Arctic Council. So Arctic Council is important, but obviously UPSC might not repeat the same question, but UPSC is interested in that topic. So what are the other dimensions of that topic which UPSC has not yet explored? What you do a Wikipedia search, or you do a government report search. If government has a report policy on that, if you just do Google search, okay, India's Arctic policy PDF, you'll see this report will come at the top. Of the Google search, and if you read that report, it is exactly mentioned at least 2-3 times, okay, the polar code. Even on the Wikipedia page of Arctic navigation, okay, there is one section dedicated to this polar code. Okay, so my idea of making this video is to help you understand that yes, you are preparing current events. Okay, you should prepare current events, but don't just rely on some current affairs magazines. Okay, because most of the current affairs magazines, what they do, they just make a synopsis of the newspaper. They don't do the backward and forward linkage, and they don't go, okay, to the depth of that topic. They generally don't go to the depth of the topic. Okay, and without going the depth of the topic, you will not be able to solve those questions which most candidates will not be able to solve. Okay, so this question was of that nature which most candidates will miss. Okay, I'm honestly telling, okay, if they have not prepared what is polar code, they will miss this question. Very high chances that they will miss this question, and if they answer it, okay, might be the guesswork, it will work, but high chances are that they might get it wrong. Very high chances is that they might get it wrong. But if you have prepared layer wise preparation, layer wise means there is one layer which is called superficial level. Superficial level is okay, Arctic region is in news. Okay, Arctic region is in news. Superficial level is what? Let me just show you. Okay, let me just show you. Okay, so superficial level, by superficial level I mean okay, Arctic region is in news, Arctic Council is in news. Okay, so what question can come in Arctic region? What question can come in Arctic Council? Okay, they can ask membership because it's an organization based question. They can ask membership, they can ask year of formation. Okay, maximum they can ask this. They can ask is India is a member or not. Okay, as far as Arctic region is concerned, they can ask okay, what is the impact of global warming, or they can ask okay, what is Arctic amplification. Okay, Arctic amplification. Okay, but when you go to layer 2, of preparation, layer 2 of preparation is called in-depth preparation. What you do, you start going deeper. What are the various impacts of melting of this ice? Okay, what kind of impact it has on the world and on the countries which are surrounding this region, and how is this impact okay being managed okay by various international organizations, for example Arctic Council, IMO, okay, all that. So for that you need to do little bit, you need to do on your own research also, or if you are following the DPN, okay, you can rely that I will do that research. I am doing that research because I completely understand what is the trend of the UPSC, and I also learn with every year. I also learn what is the thinking, in what direction UPSC question setters are thinking. Okay, prelims question setters are thinking, because without understanding how they are thinking, in what direction they are thinking, we will not be able to predict okay what should be our line of preparation. Okay, so you see here how if you had done a little bit of your extra hard work of going through this Arctic policy, or going through this report which was available on online, okay, the concept note on India's Arctic policy, then it was completely written in that, it was exactly written in that document, okay, 2-3 places. Or if you have little bit prepared, what will be the impact, what will be the positive impact of, you can see here, what will be the positive impact of melting of sea ice in the Arctic region on the Arctic Council members, okay, like sea routes, Arctic navigation. And if you have gone through what is this Arctic navigation, what are the new routes coming and why it is important, so in that Wikipedia page also this polar code was given. Okay, so see, many of you might say that what sir is doing a post facto analysis, and it is very easy to do a post facto analysis. But let me tell you guys, I am not only doing a post facto analysis. Actually, when I prepare my daily prelims notes, I do this kind of analysis. When I prepare my Optima question, when I prepare my current affairs question, when I prepare my full length test, I do this kind of analysis, and that is the reason I am able to predict so many questions in the UPSC prelims examination. And last year many of you got benefited with my predictions in the science section and in the environment section. Okay, so I will be coming out with these kinds of analysis to help you understand that okay, if you are solving PYQs, okay, don't just solve the prelims PYQs, solve the mains PYQs also, because many a times UPSC is taking inspiration from the mains question PYQ, and they are solving a they are framing a question on prelims paper. Okay, so both prelims and mains we can see, because once we see the PYQs we understand okay what is the thinking of the people who are framing the question, okay, who are framing the question, in which direction they are thinking. And once we catch that direction, then it will be very easy for us to do that. And that's the reason I used to do that during my preparation, and that is the only reason. You see here I have, you see my marks, what kind of marks I have scored. This is the reason I have scored this high marks. Okay, and I can tell you it is very easy to do this, and for every topic you don't have to do this, but at least a topic where government is coming with its first policy on Arctic region, this is a very important policy, you should go through it, and in future I am telling you, in 2023, in 2024, again questions will come from this region. Questions will come from this region. Okay, but it will not be repetition of what has already been asked. Some other dimension UPSC is going to ask. So our preparation, if it is in holistic manner, we will be able to predict most of the questions. So thank you friends. Bye bye. Take care. And please like the video. If you really like my analysis, please like the video. Please hit the like button. Please subscribe the channel. And please share this with other UPSC aspirants also, because we have to spread this awareness, because once people are empowered, then they can crack this exam on their own also. Thank you friends.